The scent of mildew and decay hangs heavy in the air. A forgotten basement, a creaking floorboard. Then, a horrifying discovery. This is just a taste of the terrors that await within ethereal nightmares, an anthology of twisted tales. 12 unsettling tales penned by diverse authors plunge you into a darkness that preys on your deepest fears. Desperation breeds nightmares, driving characters to unthinkable choices. From forgotten tunnels to desolate wastelands, the veneer of normalcy crumbles, blurring the lines between sanity and madness. Will you confront creatures from beyond the veil? Will you fight for your life against ancient evils? Ethereal Nightmares dares you to face the abyss. Are you brave enough to enter? Ethereal Nightmares. You can buy it on Amazon and darkhomepublishing.uk.
We all know the Stairway to Heaven solo is a no-no. Well, here's what I think is a yes. Hi, Drunken Pen listeners. This is Bryce Yoli, host of Arcade Bookshop, where I'm always alongside your Drunken Pen host, Caleb James. I have a book through an actual publisher. Airplane Graveyard is poetry. If you love Drunken Pen, you probably love to read and write. I'd adore it if you gave Airplane Graveyard a try. You can find it for pre-order right now at finishinglinepress.com. Just search my name, Bryce Yoli. That's Johle. Or the title, Airplane Graveyard. Pre-order before July 19th and you'll get $2 off the typical list price. Read my poetry and never have to listen to me butcher Stairway to Heaven again.
Yeah, man.
Yes?
We're on there, man.
Technically speaking, not live air, but air.
You know what's annoying, brother?
What's that, brother?
So, weeks ago,
Weeks?
when we were supposed to have Joy Sullivan on, and we
Uh-huh.
had technical errors and
Mhm.
the fucking whole domino effect of bullshit,
Yes.
cascading diarrhea waterfall on my neck. That was technical issues we had for a few weeks. Well, to make up for that Joy Sullivan episode, we immediately recorded a horrible episode that'll never be heard.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't good.
Nope.
So we rescheduled another episode, and we talked about Stephen King and his writing on women.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're listening to this through your favorite podcast app, fine.
Hopefully.
On that, the episode was fine. But I uploaded it to YouTube like I normally do, set it and forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that video did fairly well for us. It got like 70 views in a couple weeks or something, which for us is good just because we don't actually have video or anything. It's just, the audio. It's mainly just a backup. But we started getting comments about it and people's opinions on Stephen King. And I was like, oh, this video is actually doing good. Surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got one today and it said no sound. And then they gave their take on the because the title. People were reading the title.
Yep.
It turned out the YouTube version had no sound. So it was just a picture.
For like almost a month.
Yeah, it was like 2-3 weeks, however the fuck long it was up. So I got real irritated earlier and I re-uploaded it and there was more technical errors when you came over.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was it about that week that episode is just not allowed to be online? I don't know. But I'm trying my best to get that rectified. So hopefully when this airs, that YouTube video of Stephen King will be on. And nobody will ever view it again, probably.
Nope, it has.
The heat is gone. Everyone was like, ooh, it's in the algorithm. Let's check it out. No sound.
It's not there.
Anyway, speaking of Stephen King, his good friend Neil Gaiman. Are they buddies? That'd be cool if they were.
I think they at least have a mutual respect for each other.
They should have crossed paths at some point. Maybe a co-written piece.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
That would be neato skeeto. Anyway, you finally finished American Gods.
Yes.
Thoughts?
I really enjoyed it. I do feel like some points were a little convoluted or just... But again, I was reading the 10th anniversary edition, which had,
Extra.
like extra stuff in it.
I do remember getting confused at some parts because there was like a lot going on.
Yeah. And just even just like things like Like, oh, I like this, but it's just like basically anytime like it went away from Shadow,
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, it's good, but it's like it's not what I,
Yeah. It's one of those books that probably didn't have to be as long as it was.
No.
Nancy Boyd's is a little more succinct. I think you'd like that.
Yeah, I was flipping through it today because like I got those two, and then Stardust and Neverwhere like in this collection thing. So whenever I put American Gods back in its thing, I was looking at it, and at least in the copy that I have, and Nancy's is under like 400 pages. I was like, it was like 430 or something like that. And I was like, that'd be whenever I get around to that, that'd be nice.
Excellent. So star rating from you.
I would give it, if we could do halves, I'd do 3.5. I don't know if it's quite up to I don't know if it's quite up to 4, but I feel like 3 is too low of a,
Yeah. So a 3.5.
3.5, if that's
3.5
right.
whiskey shots out of 5. We always forget we started with whiskey shots.
Yeah.
For some reason, just abandoned that.
Well, that went the way of the website.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars from what I remember. Like you were saying, I did find some of it was a little convoluted because there's so many gods and weird shit coming in. It's one of those things you had to actually really focus on at times. And sometimes when you're just reading at work or on a break or something, you're like, what's happening?
This is actually something I would have been like...
Reading at home?
Well, yeah, but would have been better if he made it longer and just broke it into a trilogy of books.
Yeah.
Then you could have really went in and fleshed, you know what I mean, or stuff like that.
Like what the English finally did with Alan Moore's Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Which I went and bought the 3-book version because, good God, why do you need such a big one book?
I just think how you bought the 3-book version as if you're ever gonna go back and reread that thing. Waste another 5 years of your life. That was another thing I forgot to tell you. Whenever our good buddy Mike listened to the very first episode, and among the other things I was telling you about, he said in that very first episode you were talking about Jerusalem.
Was I?
Yeah. That's how long it took you.
You're blowing up the mic.
But that's how long it took you to read that thing.
Was this the conception of the podcast? Good Lord. That's terrible. If you folks want to listen to an episode about American Gods, it's not going to be on this show.
No.
But we got
do one, though.
We got one on Arcade Bookshop. We should probably do one. A better one. You know how it's going to be better? More dick jokes.
More dick jokes.
Yeah, but right now, if you go and listen to the Arcade Bookshop podcast, which I am also on, we discuss, not me and Spencer, me and the other, well, not the other host, the actual host of the podcast. I'm co-host on that one. Bryce, we talk about American Gods, some video games.
Now,
it's been so long, I don't remember what we actually talked about on that episode.
I will give a warning for that, at least for that episode. If you haven't read it yet, wait, because you guys just from the gate start with the heavy spoils. Because some of the stuff, when I Hitchhiker Guide, you guys talked about that without really, spoiling too much or stuff like that. But American Gods, you guys went in heavy, deep, really quick. Even before a light over thing, you just was all this shit, So
sounds like a terrible way to run a podcast. Anyway, folks, we will be back in, I don't know, Shake of a Lamb's Tail or maybe Jiffy. What's that?
I think I was going to try, I think I meant to say try 2 GIFs. Is there
a GIF?
A GIF or
maybe I should just cut all this out.
Maybe.
It's probably for the best. You are listening to the Drunken Pen Ready podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me, as always, Spencer, the Nebraska Knitting Ninny Church.
Yeah.
I kept it whole. I should have used that for a guest episode.
Yeah.
It's too wholesome.
Too wholesome.
You're a knitting ninny. Technically, that's a K. Knitting.
Yeah.
But we'll let it slide because it still fits.
Mm-hmm.
So today's episode is sponsored by Fleshlight. Get your Fleshlight. Put your wee-wee in a machine and let it do its thing. I don't know. Do we have sponsors anymore? I finally had the bright idea, which I might, if I do it this week, put on the front of this episode, is come up with an ad for some books that I'm in. And maybe we could do that for what we're going to talk about here in a moment.
Yeah.
Your next publication. That'd probably be a good idea.
Yeah.
I also, you know what? We'll just talk about it right this moment.
Good.
Spencer Church has been accepted, which we alluded to last week, into, I don't think we actually said the name, did we?
I don't believe so.
You have been, is it issue 66?
Yeah, 66.
Spencer Church has been accepted into issue 66 of The Siren's Call. That's a pretty cool one.
Yep.
That will be out July 27th,
Yeah,
8th?
End of July.
So that's a good one. That's a funny story, actually. That's the story that we got hammered, drunk, and knocked out because we were writing it for a charity anthology entitled What They Deserve, and it was about people getting their comeuppance.
Yeah.
And that anthology completely ghosted both of us.
Yeah.
Never heard anything, and then apparently it's just never happening. I guess they gave up on it but didn't tell anybody. Maybe we're the only two who submitted. I don't know. But it was for charity, and now they can't have the story because you got accepted by an actual good publication.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That's an exciting one. The only thing that sucks, because I was in the last issue of Siren's Call, and I really, really liked my story, but it's not a print publication. It's an e-zine.
Yeah. But like you said, it's supposed to be one of the better.
They claim they boast a readership of 35,000.
I mean, that is nice there.
The downside, at least in the issue I was in, a lot of stories, and it's, people really reading the thing cover to cover. I don't know.
I mean, especially when it's like you're downloading a PDF of it. You know, it's not even like you're buying like a like a version on your Kindle or something like that. But
so that's the downside. My story, I'm actually, because we didn't, for Siren's Call anyway, I'm assuming just because it's free online. You don't sign a contract. Like, you go through the editing process with the team and everything, but I didn't sign a contract. So they didn't mention anything about having exclusive rights for any amount of months or anything. So I actually reached out to a print publication that shall remain anonymous for the time being.
For now.
But I talked to the publisher, the person who runs the publisher, and asked them, I was like, hey, do you take reprints? And they very enthusiastically said yes, especially when I mentioned it was a Siren's Call story. And I just have to wait for them to read the submission because I submitted it formally. Told them I was going to submit it. I submitted it formally, but it takes up to 60 days.
Yeah.
But they had the next 2 issues they're looking for, but it's a fantasy.
Oh, buddy. You're going to have to bleep yourself out.
It's a fantasy publication. So my story was a dark fantasy, which you can still read in Siren's Call. It was called, what was it called? Remember? Undying Island is what it was called. So you can still read that in issue 65. I really like the story. It's not even the fact that I want more eyes on it. I just want it in print. I don't care if because this is, since this magazine also doesn't pay, they take reprints and they charge the bare minimum they can for publication. So I think it's like $5 on Amazon.
Oh, that's not bad.
Because their whole thing is they just want people to be able to read for free, or close to free. Because they have a free PDF version as well, but you can have a print version. I just want the story in print.
Yeah.
Just to have on my shelf. Because like we always talked about, if you're in an online only zine or something, if the online zine goes out of business or if the internet goes down, your story doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to try to do for, this Siren's Call story. Like
because it's a good story.
Yeah, in a few months, try to find someplace where it might fit in on that accepts reprints or whatever.
Yeah, so it's cool again just to have them in your bio. It's a good on the resume,
right? Yeah,
which was basically why I wanted you to submit there, anyways, because it's good on the resume.
And it seems like that's a good one for like people who like in the community, as like as like you meet people, you're like going through the same things. It seems like that's a good crew to be trying to be a part of.
They also, which we should probably do, is they accept. It's like $10 to get an ad inside of the magazine.
That wouldn't be bad, yeah.
So do a DPW ad.
Yeah.
I told Bryce to do an arcade bookshop ad. He's like, I don't know. He just said a bunch of dumb shit. I think he didn't want to pay the $10.
So what it would just be like, we would come up with like
just a 1-page ad,
and it would just be there within the.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, because they had ads in the last issue when I was flipping through. You just come across the page ad, just like hey, check out whatever. Just like how old comic books used to have.
Right, yeah.
So I'd be down for doing that, like if we can get it together. I mean, I could do it myself, but it'd probably be shitty looking, so I don't know. Because I don't know what the fuck I would put for the ad. Like, I don't want it just to be the logo. It could be.
Right.
Could just say, hey, could you just publish this logo with that at DPW
Yeah.
podcast? If we had the easy and we were coming out with that, would be a better.
True, yeah.
Well, again, we talk about invite only, but if we were doing like submissions or something, that would have been great when we actually had the website up that had get
True.
submissions.
Do you think they'd be mad if you had an ad for another book that you were in and,
No, they had ads for books in there.
Okay.
I don't know if they would like it if you were doing like a separate, like a competitor, which I don't know what would be a competitor for them, but yeah, that would be kind of cool just to get an ad in there. But the reason why I didn't do it last time is because I was published in it. So
Yeah,
like
it'd
this
been
one
weird.
as well, you're in it. So I'm like, I don't know if that might not, because you have DPW in your bio.
Yeah.
That's kind of like self-serving, you know?
Right.
Probably wait till we're done with that. Oh, you know what it was? I remember Bryce wasn't bitching. He had a legit point. I told him he should put one because he wanted to promote going to that con, but
it wouldn't have been out in time.
Yeah, I think that was the deal. But he should do one for his chapbook. I told him he needs to do that.
True, yeah.
That'd be a good idea. What else, Spencer? In the news today, Caleb's got a big fat wheelie. Oh my god!
Not fake news, Caleb.
Fake news.
Well, I'd imagine we probably won't have any guests on for a while.
I don't know. There's still people reaching out I haven't talked to, but maybe. I thought about doing invite only, like personally inviting some authors I just want to talk to. So maybe I'll do that because up till now we've never invited anybody until we needed A.D. Jones to jump on, which was literally last second. I was like, hey, can you come on? But I have never done a call out before that. Oh, here's another thing though about the Siren's Call. So you finally got your first taste of the editorial experience.
I did,
and you didn't like it, did you?
Well, it
wasn't a major changes.
No, but it was weird though. It was just weird changes.
Well, so my story, they wanted to shorten the title from The Undying Island to just Undying Island. I was fine with, and then they wanted to. I remember specifically 4 corrections. None of them were typos or anything. Literally, just like get rid of a word. It was very simple. Your story also was very small, simple with the corrections, but yours were specific.
Yeah.
The first one was the title, which to be fair, the original title of your story was
What Wounds Never Heal?
Yeah, What Wounds Never Heal ? And they said no question marks, needs to be a shorter title. So we thought. We settled upon Open Wounds.
I think so, yeah.
You haven't heard back yet, right? Like on the corrections, they'll send you a proof of.
Yeah, I think I got like just like a thank you for responding, but not anything,
Yeah, so you don't know if they accepted that or not as the title, but I don't see why they wouldn't. It seems fine. But the main thing was your story deals with revenge, and one of the plot points is it's about, we won't go into detail, but there's a little girl, like a 7-year-old girl that gets kidnapped, and the Siren's Call, it must be something either in their terms of service or like, I guess just like a moral code.
Yeah.
They don't want anything to deal with underage people. So we had to get, even though like there's nothing visual or like you don't mention anything that actually happens to the girl. There's no details given, but it is alluded to.
Right.
There are things that, alluded to, but the story doesn't actually give any like graphic. There's no graphic stuff for that, but they just didn't want anything to do, like just no age, just make sure we couldn't even do little girl.
No.
Which you only mentioned like 2 or 3 times, and those were the instances they wanted you to just take it out or change it. And I think you just settled upon like, just girl or something. But it was just weird because it was like, it does take away a little bit of the bite of the story.
Well, that's like another one of those things I think like if I do find a place where I can that does reprints that
do the
were
original.
Accepted. Yeah, just do the original, just see, be like, hey, when I submit it, if they accepted, be like, I had to make these couple of changes.
Yeah.
Are you okay if I take, just to see?
But that's an interesting one because I haven't come across that yet, where it's just like change and not necessarily an important part of the story, but it is the one that makes it, because it's a revenge story. So I like when we came up with it was like that put it over the edge.
Right? Yeah.
If it was like a 20-year-old girl that gets kidnapped and presumably murdered or something, it's like, well, yeah, that's brutal. But when it's like an innocent 7-year-old, that's way worse.
Yeah, like when we came up with that, we wrote that. That's when we were like, oh shit, we got the idea,
Yeah.
and now it makes it a little bit more ambiguous, kind of
Yeah.
like what actually happened. But
I like the original better.
mm,
I like that bite. I don't think we should shy away from things that clearly happened in the real world.
right.
But it's not our publication, so
But one thing though that I do like about that is that they felt like the fact that they needed to feel like to change it is almost kind of like oh, you're like on the right path of like
it's kind of a testament to like, oh no, this like affected us a little too much.
you're right, yeah,
This was a little too harsh. Maybe we need to tone it down.
right, yeah.
Okay. Maybe the readers will read that story and go, fuck. Now they're just going to read it and go, oh, fuck. But not as hard.
Right. A soft fuck, not a hard fuck.
Soft fuck. Well, like we talked about when we were looking over those edits, because you wanted me to look over just to make sure, it was like, do we agree? Like,
Right,
is this
yeah.
like a work, should I go with this or not? And then I was talking about like my edits for my story in Ethereal Nightmares, where I didn't get which was surprising. It's like 34-page story. I didn't get a edit proof to like, hey, these are the edits we're going to make. They just told me beforehand, like I signed a contract, paid for the story, and they said, hey, we're going to, change. We talked about this on here before to the British style of spelling and grammar and punctuation. And I wasn't too hip on that. And when I got the final results and read the story, I'm still not a big fan of that, but I mean, some of it's stupid. Like, the word favorable with a U. Okay. It's like, that's not bad. But then like we talked about, I am an American. And unless someone reads my bio now, they're probably just going to think I'm a British guy.
Yeah.
Which is odd, but it's okay. It's just like if I wanted to send that story out in the future or put it in my own anthology or something,
You'd
like
have to change it back.
Yeah, do I change? Well, that's the thing. Like, there were a few word choice edits that I actually like the edits they did. Like, they just found a better word that I missed or something. I was like, oh, I like that. That reads better. But for the most part, like the grammar stuff, like, so I don't have a proof anyway. So if I did want to put it in my anthology, I can't use the one they have here unless I'm able to reach out to the publisher. You still have my story? Can you send it to me to reuse?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Well, like we said, I think the big thing would be like, it'd be like one thing if your story took place over there.
Yeah.
And that's I could see where like that would maybe make a little bit more sense to make some of those changes, just to give it that feel. But like, yeah, because that's the Asher Kang story, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a sword and sorcery story. So if that just feels like a weird thing to change.
They just wanted all the stories to have a consistency. So everyone's story would have got changed if they're not, from the UK, or even if they're from the UK, but they still wrote in an American style, which some do. Like Matt Holland told us when we were talking to him about the same thing. He's from Liverpool, I believe, but he said he kind of writes in a mix. And, he gets publishers that want to change. And I think when we talked to A.D. Jones, he said, when he writes for American publications, he usually just writes in an American style. So if I want to submit to Dark Homes in the future, which I thought about, it's like, do I write in an American style, which is what I know, or do I try to write in a British style and probably fuck it up?
I would say just do it in the American,
let them change it,
and then let them be in charge of that.
That still just seems like too much work on their part to make those changes. Hire an editor to do all that. Like, you don't have to do that. I mean, I'm still happy with the final product. I think it came out really well.
Oh yeah.
It's just now I write future Asher Kang stories. Unless I submit get it published by them, then if an
the
American
style's gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah, if anyone chooses to follow, anyway. But it's not really a big deal. It just I thought it was weird. It's not as big as I would have been more mad if they're like, hey, one of your characters in your story is a kid. Can we make them 19 or just not mention their age? I'm like, well, the whole point is that they're a fucking kid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just like if your story, for instance,
it's
storming outside. So if your story, let's say, was,
do you think like instead of it was a little girl, if it was a little boy?
I don't think it really matters for them. I think it's just the age thing. But like, say your story was gonna be, novella length, like really long.
Yeah.
That would change everything.
Well, yeah, it would take away like the motive. It would take away the whole.
I mean, your story's basically 2 scenes.
Yeah,
it's like an opening scene. Guy I think passes out or something, comes to, if I remember correctly, and then it's like ending scene.
Right, which all takes place in one
Room.
small location.
Yeah, one place. So it's not really like anything that, like I said, it doesn't really affect your story, but if it was longer, it would.
Yeah.
All it does is, in my opinion, takes away some of the bite. And again, when you're the writer, it's one of those things, like if you look back a year from now and reread the story after forgetting everything about it, you probably wouldn't even fucking care.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even notice. I mean, I'm speaking for you. I don't know if you're actually all that upset about it. I just thought it was like kind of, what are you doing? You know,
Yeah,
like, just leave it. Like, I mean, you got people getting decapitated, getting their dicks burned off, and you know, I've read some of the stories in there. My story in there had some mutilations and stuff. It's like, this is the line.
Yeah, that's just my thing.
Because you didn't do anything to the kid. You didn't say anything was done to the kid. You just alluded that something bad happened to the kid.
Right.
But you didn't really go into detail. At least from what I remember. I know that the kid, because the kid's not actually in the story.
No. She's just mentioned.
It's basically the kid is just the catalyst for the revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. You'll have to get some other opinions from people after they read it to see if they would think it was needed change, worthwhile change.
But though that it was nice, so other than like that, there wasn't really, excuse me, too many edits to it.
No, I don't think there was any typos.
So that's kind of nice, you know.
There's no like grammar edits or typos or anything that I saw, so that was cool. Yeah, I think that was literally it. It was just that in the title, so that's good. That'll come out, and you have that to look forward to when you're lucky, John. Also, I was telling you off air, I spoke with Harriet, because she reached out to me, who did the horoscope books, because I'm in volume 3 and 4, and my stories got selected to be in the special volume she's doing next year. She says she is going through. She's going to do each sign.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and then she's going to do like the best stories for that sign, and then 3 or 4 new ones, plus some other stuff. So I'm going to be in those in your story that got accepted before I ever did.
Right.
You're going to be in one of them. I think we said it was cancer.
I'm the new story in the collection.
You're going to be the new story, and then you're getting to get paid for it. The reason why Harriet reached out is one to confirm like if it's okay to use my stories again, because she said when we got accepted, if we wanted to, we can submit the work somewhere else, get them published somewhere else too, because she doesn't care. Like she just gave everybody the rights to it, but I was like, no, that's fine. You could use my stories again. And she said, well, I'm giving back pay to all the writers and the previous ones who were in this one that their story didn't get, paid for. Or you can get a contributor copy. And I was like, just give me the contributor copy. So you're going to get, again, you'll probably either get paid or a contributor copy or both. I don't know what you're going to get. But because mine's already been published once. But yeah, I'm down for getting another cool looking anthology.
Right. And also just the fact of being in like the best of something.
Makes me feel good. I mean, I did get a certificate. I haven't shared it yet. I've been because I thanked her for it, but I've been wary because like I haven't seen anyone else in the group
post anything of theirs.
Yeah, and I don't want to feel like a fucking pretentious douche. Like, you got the best story in the Leo category. Like, should I do that? Is that like
the people gonna pissed off of you?
I don't know. It's just like that seems like I'm not a braggart. So I don't like bragging or stuff. I mean, I know it's not like actual award, but I might get a little frame.
I mean, that's a lot. If you put in all the stories in those 4 collections, like that's a lot of stories.
Yeah, for each sign it's 3, so and then there's 4 volumes, so that's 12 stories, and mine got picked as I don't know how many she picked for the best of, but I got one of them. So I'm excited about that, but that's not till fucking next year. The first volume she has coming out is the end of January. So
well, is she gonna? Because what she should do is release them in the month.
That'd be cool. Maybe she is. I have
you know
no
what
idea.
I mean? Like that would be a cool idea. You might want to mention to her about that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what her plans are, but what else? Next month I am my story House of Shit.
House of Shit.
Also known as The Haunted Pillow. That was my soft title. Because when I was shopping it around, I didn't know if people were going to be able to publish The House of Shit. So I'm very happy I found a publication that is down with House of Shit. So I'm going to be in readings from Curse 301. It's by Mad Axe Media. And that is, they're already available for ARC copies. I don't know if you have to reach out to the publisher to do like the review copies. But there's already reviews coming from the collection. And they're good so far.
Now, is that going to be a physical one? Or?
Yeah, I'm going to get that when it comes out. That's the one that we get paid depending on how well the Kickstarter did. I don't think the Kickstarter made its goal of like 2,000. I think it was like I don't know. I didn't check before it was closed, but I think they said they were going to pay us regard. It was just like they would have paid us more.
Depending on how much, yeah.
But
It's like a bonus, kind of.
Yeah, but we should still, at the very minimum, get a contributor copy. But that one's cool because it has an overarching narrative that can, like, almost Tales from the Crypt style.
Okay.
It's like a guy, a professor, I think, who hates horror stories, and I don't know if he's teaching a class or something, but keeps coming across these stories. And the catch for this one was the stories had to be a play on classic tropes or popular horror tropes. So my story was I wrote years ago and just never could do anything with it because it's fucking dumb as shit. It's about these two guys. It was about my experience with my buddy Tyler. We went to Virginia Beach during COVID, and we went to this haunted house, and it was so terrible. And literally, the guy who worked there was just one creepy looking guy, just kept popping out of corners, going, "This is the house of shit," and it was very terrible. And so I wrote a story. Basically, was that, but my story ends with like the guy's a killer or something.
Yeah.
So. But it's not really scary because my story plays on the idea of jump scares and how stupid they are and overused, and also like on haunted houses. So I just submitted it as a goof. I was like, well, do they want that? Who wants the house of shit, you know? But apparently it was really hard to get in this one because a lot of people I know were rejected. So I was like, oh, cool. I guess I'm glad I got in for house of shit. But I guess I think it was because it's fun. It is funny.
That sounds like a 90s punk band.
House of shit.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy with that one. It's pretty cool. And Mad Axe seems like a pretty cool publisher. So I'll be down. Then they did very professional. I fucking had to go because I already did the edits for that one, but like I got a little glimpse into how they do the editing process. Because on mine, you could look at everybody's edits.
Oh wow!
I don't know if you could look at the story. It showed up with like everybody's edits, including mine, and it was a little confusing. I think I fucked it up a little bit, but my edits again weren't like just normal stuff. But I did like the edits and stuff, and then they've been sending like promotional things. They've been sending all kinds of stuff.
Now, do they normally do like? Is that like what they do is like try to put the collections together and things and like kind of like Harry does different like collections and anthologies and stuff like that? Or
I'm not quite sure how much I don't know if this is their first thing or not. Let me check real quick.
Because that might be like a good thing. Just try to keep an eye out for them doing anything in the future.
I'm sure they will. Yeah. So the readings from no, there's a bunch of other stuff actually. What is this? It's hard for me to say because some of these places they take on writer like Harry. It's like January Ember, like our new author, and then they promote their book and they put out their book. So I don't know if these are Mad X titles or not, but this one, what happened to Lacey or JK? Yeah, I don't know. You can check it out yourself. I don't got time here, but Mad X Media on Instagram, you can find out all that stuff. See what they're doing, and they're doing cool stuff. But yeah, keep your eye open. As far as the submission front, I have fucking heard dick all. I got rejected by Infested Publishing, I think, Infested Press.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to that. I thought I was gonna get in because I thought I had a really good story, but my story is closer to Splatterpunk, my werewolf story I wrote. So I have no idea what that Infested. It was like their first official issue. So I don't know what they were actually looking for. Like they gave like a very general, synopsis of what they're looking for, but mine probably was like too hardcore or just not in the right direction. And I got rejected from, what was the other magazine? No, I never heard back from that one yet. I'm just assuming I'm rejected. No. So I have a whole bunch that I'm just waiting to hear back from, and it's been like a month and a half of not getting any news, which sucks. And you haven't submitted anything, have you?
Not in a while, no. The last thing was for this Siren's Call.
You still have a couple out, though, don't you? Of different stuff? Like, I know you have, you submitted that one, it was like a sci-fi-ish story, or the career preference story.
Yeah.
I think you submitted that in maybe a crow story or something.
Yeah, but I think it was just, it's kind of like the other place we did the Siren's Call story, just nothing. Just haven't heard.
Just ghosted.
Yeah, just ghosted.
Yeah, but sometimes it takes 6 months.
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, I've been in a couple places since 2022, just sitting on them. That's insubmittable, so at least I don't forget about them. But there's one place I submitted to and even followed up on. The original place I submitted House of Shit to was a weird speculative fiction magazine or something. I can't remember the name of it. But I submitted to them, and never heard anything. And then like a year later, I followed up. It's been years. I never heard, and I don't even know if they posted. Maybe they went out of business. I don't know. I have probably 10 or 20 publications that I never heard anything from. And then when I finally go back and look, it's like they don't exist, or they're just, we're not open for submissions, but they haven't published in like a year. That's the thing, again, why I don't like online publications. And I think I'm just going to steer away from it for the most part, unless it's like a Siren's Call where they have a big audience and it's like good on the resume. Because you submit to these places and you get, if
they just waste your time.
Yeah, they waste your time, or even if you do get accepted, they might just close shop.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, what the fuck? So I'm just sitting here in limbo, or I got accepted. And then I think Bryce had a couple experiences where he got some ones that he like waited on to like come out, and they just never told him when it was fucking coming out. It'd be like a year and a half. And then maybe like he finally got something. He's like, oh yeah, it came out. I'm like, what the fuck? Why did it take so long? You don't keep like no consistency, no professionalism. Everybody just thinks, they come out of college, I can start my own publication.
Right, like it's something easy to do.
Yeah, it's I mean it is if you don't do it right. But yeah, so right now I have this story for a Christmas anthology I was invited to write for, and that's a paid submission, and I'm almost done with it. I'm actually flirting with overshooting the word count, which is my problem. I think that's why I haven't finished, but I've been so fucking busy with shit. Like every time I go to do it, I get jammed up with something. But I'm almost done with that. But I have to finish that this week because I need to do my Cosmic Horror story for Cosmic Horror Monthly, which needs to be in by July 1st if I, have any shot of getting it accepted. I think because that's one that's gonna fill up quick.
Right.
So I'm only like maybe 1,000 words into that, if that. So I need to get back to that one because it's going to be a longer one, and it's Cosmic Horror. So I really got to like put my all into making that good. But that's some of the people I'm in Ethereal Nightmares with have been published in that. That's like one of those ones like, oh, that you made it. In my opinion, I have my, my bar where it's like, I feel like I made it if I can get into these certain publications. Right. So like the No Sleep podcast was one. And you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to say it now. I was accepted in the No Sleep podcast back in July
of last year.
And they were going to give me $125 or something. They're going to publish my story, and it was going to be cool. And I was super excited, but I wasn't allowed to make an announcement until it was fucking time to come out. And I'm still waiting, haven't heard anything. And I looked on like Reddit and all kinds of things thinking, oh, are they just not take my story? Are they just going to fuck me? And apparently sometimes they take up 2, 3 years.
What?
Like people said, oh yeah, I got, I either forgot about it or I kept messaging them, but I mean, it finally comes out. Like I guess when they accept your story, it will come out. It's just they only publish when they need it for that specific thing. So I was like, what the fuck, man?
And do you not get paid until it gets published?
You don't get paid until it's published. You're not allowed to announce it, but you know what? Fuck it. I don't care anymore. Because at this point, mad.
Yeah, that's a little upsetting.
No, because that's a really cool one, and that's a real good one for the resume. Because like, anytime I read like professional, like go to Barnes and Noble and I see like anthologies and stuff, and I look at like the horror writers, a lot of them have been published in the No Sleep podcast. It's like one of the big ones on your resume. So if I get that in Cosmic Horror, I'm good. I got accepted by one already.
Right.
Just need to get fucking published by them. But yeah, that wait has been killing me. But if I can get that finally to come out, and then if I can get the Cosmic Horror, that would be it for me for horror, I think.
Yeah.
Like I'm cemented in that. Because again, we talked about this, I think when A.D. Jones came on, or maybe David Winter even, I was like, I got lumped into being a horror writer.
Yeah.
C.E. Hoffman, I think we'll see. Yes.
Yeah.
But I was like, I got lumped into being a horror writer because that's where I keep getting accepted, but I'm not. That's not what I really write normally. I just happen to fall into that, but I would like to take a break from the horror after I'm done with these last few stories and everything, and then go back to just writing different things. Like the fantasy stuff. I like dark fantasy. Horror-esque.
So you still like made genre, but switching the genre.
Yeah, like I think I'm just better at dark fantasy. I mean, you still have to read the Asher Kang story to be a good judge, but I think I'm good at that stuff. Horror, I think my tendency to overwrite sometimes fights against me on that.
And so I think your writing style fits better with the dark fantasy, though.
Or just fantasy in general.
Yeah, but I do feel like your words and like the words you use and stuff, though, is still good for the horror.
Yeah,
like your descriptions and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's where I think I shine in the horror, which is why I keep getting accepted places. Is because like if I do monsters, I'm good at describing them and the goriness and like stuff like that. My problem is I can't hit the fucking horror word counts because I tend to put too much backstory, or like I want to flesh out the characters, and I can't do that. Well, even in the fantasy, it's hard. It seems fantasy generally accepts higher word counts.
Yeah,
like I said, this was a 10,000 word story I was able to get in Ethereal Nightmares. That one horror story I really like about the people in the bar. It's like a thing kind of story, like a monster.
Yeah.
That's like 15,000 words. I did ask my publisher from Ethereal Nightmares if she knows anyone that accepts word counts that high, and she did some research and she sent me one that I am going to submit it to, but that fucking volume doesn't come out till next year, a year from now.
For that,
I don't remember what the yeah, it's like a good publication, but I don't remember. But they go so far in advance with what their open calls are. They're accepting work for that one, but it doesn't come out a year from now. So if I got accepted, it'd be like a fucking long wait.
But that still would be accepted, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like some like other ones, you know, there's at least a loose date.
Yeah, so we might as well wind this down here. We're at the 40-minute mark, surprisingly.
Wow.
So I think I was telling maybe Bryce about this. I surprisingly hit like all my goals.
I remember you.
It was Arcade Cafe.
I do. Yeah.
So I hit. I'm my publishing goal this year was lofty. I felt at 10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already at like 7 or 8 or something. So I feel like I'm probably gonna hit that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna say I got that. I wanted one international publication. I got that. I wanted a pay publication. I got a few of those. I wanted I think I wanted 5 print. I think am I on set? Maybe I was 7 was counting the print. I don't remember, but I got a good at least 5 prints.
Mm-hmm.
So I got what came out this year for me? Horoscope 4, Diabolic Press, Strange Days, PA Bards,
Siren's Call.
That wasn't print.
Oh yeah.
Ethereal, The Cursed Rooms is 6. I feel like I'm missing one. Regardless, the one I didn't even expect, the Spank the Carp literary one.
Yeah,
I got that. So that was I got 7 print. So then that means I got maybe I did hit my 10 then because I got Mini Mag, like you said, Siren's Call. Anyway, I don't care. I'm not counting the online ones though. But anyway, so I got that. So I feel like I pretty much hit all those goals. It'd be nice if we get the fucking podcast goal.
Yeah.
If that would come out, then I would have that one too. But that wasn't actually a goal I set. So here's my new goal.
Oh, yes.
I want to get a publication that pays royalties.
Ooh.
I don't know exactly.
How do they go about that?
Well, I think the one that accepts the real long stories that I was going to
that would make sense.
I think they, of course, I guess that would be tacked on to next year's unless they pay me this year. I'm not sure. But I think they pay royalties. But that's one I would have to look into because I don't know many places. I don't know. But I would think that'd be a cool one to like actually get royalties for something. Because as of now, I don't even know how that fucking works.
Dude, you're right.
What about you? You have any updated goals or? I forget. I think you said you wanted 5 publications.
Something like that, yeah. And I'm only got one with the Siren's Call because I'm not really counting Gridiron Game because that was got accepted last year.
Well, that's where you get in the murky waters because it came out this year, didn't it?
True, yeah.
I'm just counting the stuff that came out this year.
Okay.
Because if you do that, then you're kind of like cutting hairs a little bit.
It's weird time travel-y kind of like.
Yeah, so you count the if you want this many acceptances, you can count that when you get the acceptances.
True.
So I wanted 10 acceptances in a year, and I got them in the year, and then. If the books don't come, but like just roll it over. Basically, what I'm just counting is from the year I submitted till that following. So like a lot of them might fall off in September or October or something. But regardless, it doesn't really matter. You need 3 more to hit that.
Hopefully, maybe only 2 more. If I can also get my Cosmic Horror Story.
All right.
Wouldn't that be cool?
It'd be fucking awesome.
If we both got our stories accepted.
That'd be fucking rad. Yeah, because we haven't gotten anything together.
Do you ever worry that whenever, because we both use, the Drunken Pen stuff in our, in our bios, because there's been a couple places where we both accepted too, where like either one of us got accepted or neither one of us got accepted. But do you ever worry about when we submit to the same places if they see that
They don't want two of the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're competing with each other. Yeah, I actually have wondered about that, but a lot of the places, I don't think they read the bios too much until they accept or reject. Or probably just, I don't know. Some of them do blind, but like so far, me and Bryce have been on a bunch of things together. Me and Ashley have been in at least 2 together.
Mm-hmm.
Me, Bryce, and Ashley have been in 1 together. Diabolic Press. Fucking Spencer's not in anything I'm in. What's going on? It's because you need to write more.
That has a lot to do with it.
And if you'd submit more. But Ashley doesn't submit that much, but I don't know why, because the few times he submitted, he's got in.
Right.
I think the only thing that I know he submitted that I told him to submit to was Diabolic and Horoscope, and he got into both of them.
Yeah.
Just listen to me, buddy. Just keep submitting to where I tell you to.
Well, that's where I've got my submissions from is.
I think he would be good at the Cosmic Horror Stories. He should write
Right.
one of those, but he's always busy. I don't know what the fuck he does. He's a man of mystery out there in the middle of nowhere. Where is he? Missouri.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on out there?
And
Anyway.
maybe we should see if he can put away some time, have him on for an episode, just to check in, see how things are going.
Yeah, we should do that. Well, I kind of put him on fucking suspended animation because we were supposed to do that. I think it's that J.J. Abrams book for inebriated reading challenge. We were supposed to do that, but then we got caught up on all this shit.
Everything happened, yeah.
Also, I think when I made those plans, I didn't have so many things to do for Arcade Bookshop, so it's like I just got jammed up. Also, we didn't have all these fucking guest kits because that kind of like
true, yeah, because
that was like a cascade of guests.
Well, I was gonna say because when you guys started to do that, it was just kind of like for extra content.
Yeah.
Now it's just like we don't necessarily need a whole bunch of extra stuff. It's nice to have it, but it's not as much of a need.
We haven't even started the Murakami Minute yet that we wanted to start in like April, which is easy.
Right.
Like we still haven't got to that. It's just too much shit back there.
Should we mention what we're doing for the next book of the month or whatever we do whenever we review a book?
Yeah, we can. David Scott Hay was on our podcast a couple months ago. I don't remember the episode, but that was a good interview. But his book, NSFW, Not Suited for Work, we've been wanting to read it. It just haven't gotten around to it because we had so much stuff. But I finally started it. I'm like 50, 60 pages in, and it is a different book. Your copy's coming in a week or so, so should be able to start that soon. So that will be our book of the month.
Whenever we get around to doing it.
July or August, whenever we finish it. And we will start the Murakami Minute. Like I said, I don't know about the guest right now. I don't know if I'm going to book any of the ones that are in our queue just because there's a certain type of guest I just feel wouldn't do well on the show. I mean, I think we could do well with anyone, but I don't think our audience is going to relate to him too much. So I don't know. I'll have to toy around with that, but
they have to check they have to make the vibe check.
Yeah, they have to vibe check. I wish we could do a preliminary vibe check of like, hey, can we talk with you face to face for like an hour?
An hour? You want to do a whole hour before we do it? Before we decide if we record or not?
1 whole hour to calm down and actually just record that. And then it's like, that was the episode. I'm like, what? Sorry you got so racist.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, if you want to check out our work at DPW Podcast on X, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
Maybe YouTube if you can hear it.
Yeah, if you can hear it. Spencer Church, what are you today? The Sewickley Sack Sucker.
No.
What?
It's something with knitting. I was knitting.
The Sapporo Sack. You're sucking sack, right?
No, knitting.
Knitting.
Yes.
The Nebraska Knitting Ninny.
Maybe something like that. Yeah.
Stupid.
So yeah.
It's fucking dumb.
It's not the greatest.
J.J. Abrams.
It's no Caleb Red Thighs James.
Oh, shut up about those thighs. I got burnt on my thighs in a very specific area and only that area over the weekend. Don't worry about it, Mike. I know you're thinking about it. I'm thinking about my
red thighs.
My ooey thighs with the throbbing red. J.J. Abrams submitted that name, by the way, for you this week, the Nebraska Ninny. So take it up with him. I don't care about stupid movies anyway. If you want to check out my work at just CalebJamesK.com. I need to do more stuff. I need to do just more stuff. How do fucking people keep up with anything and have a job? That's the problem.
That's the thing.
In the life. If I didn't have a family of any kind,
Could you imagine if we did like the weird like we're just gonna be broke like living in like New York or like
you can't do
LA?
that. You can't do that anymore, though.
Yeah, it's true, but I mean, if like that kind of thing, like we're just like, or like Chase and Amy style, like
Yeah.
we're just like two fucking just grown adult male who need to live together because we couldn't afford to, we had to be roommates, and all we did was just fucking rode all day.
Well, just so you know, if I ever get divorced for some reason, that's our future probably. Unless you get married by then,
Yeah,
we're gonna be shacking up in a van down by the river.
Down by the river.